Good evening. I'll call this meeting of the Cartersville City Council to order. If you'll please stand for our invocation and pledge. Ms. Keeling, the roll, please.
Jerry Hodge, Ward 1.
Here.
Jay Step, Ward 2. Louis Thompson, Ward 3.
Here.
Lindsay McDaniel, Ward 4. Here. Diane Tate, Ward 5.
Here.
Lori Drew, Ward 6.
Thank you, Connie. First order of business is the approval of our council meeting minutes from our last meeting. And that was held on February 20th, as a matter of fact. And council, y'all have had these well in advance of tonight. And so the chair will entertain any edits, corrections, or motions.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Just for those, there seems to be a scrambling of microphones, just so you know, inside here, that we have a problem with the amplifier, so that middle microphone that's in front of Lindsay, the middle microphone that is pointed at Lewis, and this one, and then the podium one are the only four that are working, so that one can go away, just so you know. So yeah, so Jace, when you're having those conversations, don't whisper into that microphone, into a different one. First item on the agenda tonight is, I think we approved the minutes. I'm a little bit disheveled here. We have an appointments to the DDA board. Ms. Courier. Thank you, Tara.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and Council, the Cartersville Downtown Development Authority Board of Directors respectfully requests the reappointment of Erlene Burke, who replaced the resignation of Billy Archer in October 2012. Erlene currently serves as our design chair for downtown and has been instrumental in updating our sign and facade grant application and guidelines and working towards additional landscaping and pedestrian improvements for downtown. The board would also like to request the appointment of Bill Chandler, financial advisor with Edward Jones and downtown property owner, to replace Saunders Jones III, who resigned in December and whose term was to expire February 18, 2016. Additionally, the board requests the appointment of Jim Ballou, owner of the Olive Branch Boutique, to replace Abby Agan Ross, whose term expired on February 18, 2014. A special thank you to Saunders and Abby for their leadership and work over the past several years to bring the DDA to where it is today. Erlene, Bill, and Jim bring unique work experiences and skill sets, which will be instrumental in the continued success of the DDA and Main Street program. Your approval is recommended.
All right, any questions or discussion? And if there are none, a motion would be in order.
Motion to approve to these three.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Tara. Mr. Grove, you have the next item.
Yes, this is the change of the meeting time for Civic Youth Day, which will be April the 3rd. We'll change that from 7 p.m. to 9 a.m. if you approve. And I do recommend your approval of it.
Any discussion? And if there's not, a motion would be in order.
I have a question.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Will we be calling the same format that we used the previous year?
We're going to try.
Because I remember maybe about 3 years ago we had them all up in here.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
We're not going to do that?
No.
That answers right there. Okay.
Yeah. Except that,
As long as I'm in this
Except
chair,
we're
they're
not
not going to be
doing
up
that.
here either. So, unless you really want them to
No,
be.
I'm good.
Okay, as long as you're good. I'll just tell them that I was for it and Lindsay was against it when Lindsay says good.
there you go.
All right, if there's no other discussion, the motion will be in order.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda has been removed in regards to automated fingerprint service provider. We will move to the utility relocation agreement for Georgia Power. Mr. Anderson.
Yes, sir, Mayor and Council. This is an agreement. This is the next line in our leak mounds, Etowah Riverwalk link, as prepared by our Southland Engineering, who's the contractor, engineering contractor for this project. This is a relocation agreement with Georgia Power. It's an amount of $15,061, and this will not be charged unless we give them a notice to proceed for this. And of course, we would not do that until there is a funding mechanism, if there is a funding mechanism decided on it. But I recommend approval of this agreement.
Okay, any questions for Greg on this item?
And I think Keith mentioned earlier that it terminates March 1st of 2015 if nobody does anything.
Okay. Anyone else? If there's no discussion, a motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you,
Thank
Greg. Mr. Reinhardt, you have the next item?
Honorable Mayor and Council, in 2011, the Bartow Cartersville Second Joint Development Authority was created. It's a joint effort between the city and the county. It's funded jointly by both of them. If you remember back in October, I brought an invoice for $7,000 for the calendar year 2013 expenses. The 2014 calendar year expenses are now starting to accrue. We have an invoice attached to your program for the night in the amount of $7,000. That's for the calendar year 2014 expenses. There is one bright note after talking to Melinda Lemon. There may be some overlap where some insurance may cover both the first and second JDA, so there may be a slight, if this does happen, there may be a slight change and decrease in next year's funding. I am asking for you to approve the $7,000 invoice that is currently on the table.
Okay. Any questions for Tom on this item? Motion would be in order.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Tom. Michael Hill, you've got the next item, please.
Evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Gas system bid 4, excuse me. We went out for bids for a backhoe with 4 manufacturers. We received 3 bids back. We're asking that you approve the bid from Flint Equipment Company for $68,716.41. I know that y'all have seen the other bids from the other folks here.
Any discussion on this item? Questions for Mr. Hill on this item? There's no discussion. A motion would be in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.
Aye.
Lindsay, I didn't get your vote.
Yeah, I'm undecided.
Okay,
Mayor, perhaps I misunderstood
okay.
what Michael was asking. May I have that? I mean, am I inappropriately?
Actually, the vote is on the table. Until the vote is finished, there should not be any other discussion
Okay.
related to the item. After the vote, then you can discuss.
All right. Lindsay, do you care to abstain, or do you care to, you can either vote for the motion, against the motion, or abstain from the motion? Your prerogative.
I understand.
All right, so, motion carries, 4 to 1 to 1. And from there, we could discuss it, but they're not gonna change the outcome. Am I
No,
correct in
does
that?
not change the outcome.
Okay. Good, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Next item, Mr. Lovell, you have that item.
Mayor, this is a memorandum of understanding with Aqua Phil, one of our local industries. They're planning a expansion of approximately $25 million of new equipment and fixtures, and we'll be having a minimum of 50 new employees. This memorandum of understanding details the standard tax abatement package that the city of Cartersville and the rest of the community offers industries that make this type of investment, and it is recommended for your approval by the economic development staff. Basically, most of this expansion will occur at their existing facility at 1 Aqua Phil Drive, with a new facility they currently will be lease purchasing out on Friction Drive. And the abatements are for real property and fixtures would be a 10-year abatement at 10% a year, sliding scale, and for personal property or equipment, it would be a 5-year abatement at a 20% sliding scale.
Okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Lovell on this item? And if there are none, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Rhodes, likewise.
Do you want to add
Actually,
this?
yeah, let's do that. Thank you for that. Thought. We do have 3 items to add. We'll take those before we get to the visioning session to recap it. So I'll entertain a motion to add those 3 items to the agenda, please.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And those items are added. Thank you, council. First one is Mr. Porta, if you'll handle that one for us, please.
Yes, Mayor, we have a sewer backup that occurred at 206 North Gilmore Street, which actually occurred based on a city gas line that was installed back in 1997 at this property, and it didn't show itself up until last month. Michael Hill and I have met with the owners, and we've tried to work out agreeable differences in their cost, and it's going to be less than $10,000. Our deductible on any type of policy like this is $25,000, so I normally negotiate with the individual at hand and not show this as a claim if possible. If they're agreeable to that, they are. I just want to get council approval. I really anticipate the cost to be probably around $8,500, but I just want to get your approval of $10,000 or less. And we do have money. I always budget in there for deductibles every year in our property casualty. But this is just something that occurred based on our utility line going in there and never really showed up until last month, but the line's been installed for about 17 years.
All right. Any questions on this?
Chair would just make the statement that the motion should be subject, the payment should be subject to the city receiving a release from the individual when we make the payment.
That's correct, and they've
Okay.
seen, I've got a release form already for them.
Okay. So if someone would care to make a motion, if you'll include that in that verbiage in the motion.
Make a motion to approve payment up to $10,000, subject to the city receiving a full release at the time of payment date.
Second.
Thank you, and thank you. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Dan. Chief Culpepper, if you'll take this next item, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Before you is a request for the council to authorize the mayor to sign a new contract for the police department to participate in the state certification program. We've done this for the past 13 years. Through some changes in the program, that time frame for recertification has been shortened from 5 years to 3 years. That's why we're bringing it to you so quickly. We were just advised the other day, a couple of days ago, about this. So we need to get that contract signed so that we can get that process underway and maintain our certification.
Okay. Any questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Chief. And then, Bob, you got the last one, didn't you, Mr. Jones?
Sir, Mr. Mayor and Council, we are bringing to you tonight requesting permission to engage the services of PMC Coal Electric to repair our number 2 high service pump. We believe we had a bearing failure a few days ago. This is our primary pump. We run on this pump 6 to 8 months out of the year, sometimes more. It allows us to have considerable electricity savings rather than having to run an oversized pump to meet moderate demand. We would like to ask that you authorize us for $6,187.50 to get that thing running again and back to normal.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Anyone care to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll take Carrie's motion to approve. Anybody like to second that?
Go ahead, Jason.
Jason seconded it. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Now we will get to Sam and the visioning
Okay.
session summary.
Mr. Mayor, Council, this is a visioning session or recap of the session that we had last month that Chrissy led us through. Some of these are short range, some are a little longer range, 2 to 5 years. And then there's also some hot topics, which are more current issues that we're dealing with at the time. And I think at the end of it, there's a wish list. You've got some key issues right at the top here that staff is going to have to help frame: the funding of the Dothan Ferry Road right-of-way, alcohol ordinances that we talked about earlier, and the park referendum. Next item is develop an infrastructure replacement plan. This was to take a look at infrastructure and all the utilities. The leak protection program is a water item which we'll look at as we roll into budget, and then upgrade our software. We're already talking to vendors. Staff is meeting with those, so that would be an ongoing item. Next piece is wage study for city employees. We've already got our fingers in this a little bit, trying to update numbers. We do keep those current, so that's not going to be a major undertaking. As far as planning phase 2 of the Highland 75 infrastructure needs, there's going to have to be some discussions that go on between the city, the county, and the JDA about making funds available to do that and planning those. Parking study, note the urgent comments earlier about that with the opening of Mellow Mushroom. Also vacant building study. These studies and plans that we've got on there, where we can, we'll try to do those in-house if we can. Where we need the expertise to go outside, we will. And then the last one on the bottom of this page is the install a downtown pavilion. Maybe we can put that over by Mellow Mushroom and take a couple more parking spaces. Being facetious, of course. Next one is initiating water allocation plan. That's another water item. Consider tax allocation districts and other redevelopment tools. We already have voter approval on those, so it'd just be a matter of identifying where we could put those in place. Third item came up, and we are rolling up on it quicker than you think. It seems like we just did the 2014 list, but the 2020 SPLOS project list, develop that and roll that out in time to meet that date. Of course, these are 2 to 5 years, so they're a little bit longer than the short-term goals on the other pages. Implement short-term goals, develop revenue enhancement plan. Relative to some of the things we've done, we've cut and cut and cut and cut, and I don't know that we can go much further there, so we may have to take a look at the other side of the equation and see what we can enhance. Notice I didn't say increase. Upgrade Sam Smith Park, try to capitalize on Lake Point. Interestingly, on that item, I had a group of my city and county managers down at Lake Point, and we had Mr. Freeman come in and talk to us. Some real interesting things going on down there. It's good to see it finally starting to come out of the ground. Long-term goals, in addition, update 10-year comprehensive plan. Consider a city economic development person. Review all of our policies to make sure they're in compliance with code. We can do that in-house. Expand the airport. The airport board is already working on that. Automated meter readers, that would save us the time and gas and labor costs if we and when we institute that. Study financial impacts of federal and state legislation. That's something that we do pretty much as those face us, and then upgrade city servers, which will have to be rolled into a future budget. Okay, these are the hot topic items. I think we talked about the historic preservation appointments, and we're working on those. Development authority appointments, those kind of go hand in hand in terms of getting those filled. Again, Dothan Ferry right-of-way purchase, and we'll have staff help frame that. I think probably what we need to do is get a read from the state about what the possibility is for funding options on right-of-way. I think there was some discussion with one of the highway or the DOT commission members about the possibility of getting that. I don't know if we've played all of our chits by going after the 411 connector or not, but we could look at that one. Use of the 2003 SPLOS money, hence the list of roads that we passed out earlier, that would address that. We are already taking steps to communicate with the departments on the GIS software. I know that Dan's had a meeting with all those folks, and we're making headway on that. Alcohol festival ordinance, again, that's rolled into the alcohol ordinances that we talked about earlier. More hot topics. There's the Civic Center, Lindsay, you asked about that earlier. The upkeep of that, we'll probably have to take a look at that with the vacant building studies. Diane's favorite, traffic zone, or the quiet zone for CSX. Funding for trails in North Park, that's included in one of the unfunded items, again, that we'll have to help you frame. School resource officers, I don't know that we're any closer on getting an opinion from the Attorney General, but that about whether those are legal, but that's, I think, critical to that whole question. And then the bond referendum on recreation, and try and shoot that for a November date. These are wish list items. I don't know that I'll go through all those, but you can see there's a smattering of police items in there, and these are the kind of the universe of things that we could fund if we absolutely had all the money to do. I know that I've seen communication from Keith back to the police chief about bringing probation in-house, and in order to do that, it cost us another $162,000, so we're probably not going to do that anytime in the near future. More wish list items, parking as a citizen survey topic. Of course, we'll do that again. If we do it every 2 years, we'll do that again in 15, so we could include that as a question. Elimination of the excise tax. That's the tax that was put back on energy users with the roll-off of the exemption on sales tax for energy for industry. That's going to become a checklist like the next one down, Freeport, for industry looking to locate in our area. Better use of multimedia in council meetings. I think the wish list there is to maybe have some flat screens up here so everybody can take a look at those, and maybe a little different orientation in this room to better inform the public and make our multimedia more useful. Renovation of the fire station, again, that's a vacant building, and new water line on Main Street. I think that's it, isn't it? If you have anything to add either now or in the very near future, let me know. We can tweak that list, but we obviously need to get going. We're working on some of these things, but we need to get going on them. So, that's it.
Thank you, Sam. Anything else that needs to come before council this evening? Nothing about events downtown in the next 24 hours or so?
Well, tomorrow night is our first Friday downtown. We're doing a Mardi Gras theme, so we've got about 15 different businesses staying open late, including restaurants and retail shops. Will be handing out Mardi Gras beads. We'll be doing a pub crawl. We actually have sold 49 tickets for that, so we've got one left if any of you are interested. And I do also want to thank Mayor and Council and City Planner Richard Osborne and all the many stakeholders in the community for all the work that went into the Cartersville Downtown Master Plan. We did receive an award for Best Community Planning Initiative from the Georgia Main Street program last week at their 35th award celebration. So thank you all for that too.
Thank you, Tara. Anything else needs to come before council? If there's nothing, Chair will entertain a motion. We're close enough, Jace. We're adjourned. Didn't get a harumph out of that guy, though.